Hi, my name is Kendall Hall, and I'm a board member of Young Voices and also an 11th grader at Juan Sanchez. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm here to speak about the importance of enforcing our current laws around suspension. As of right now, Rhode Island laws state that suspension should only take place when a student interrupts a classroom to an intolerable level or is a threat to student safety. On an everyday basis, this law is misinterpreted, and students are suspended for trivial matters. Sometimes they're suspended for disobeying the teacher once or twice or simply disagreeing with the teachers. When schools do this, students begin to act out even more. When kids see that their punishment does not correlate with their offense, kids become angry, knowing that kids who do egregious acts are held to the same punishment. It is simply unfair. The fact is, schools are not following the law and are finding loopholes around it. In order to prevent this, we should add the requirement that every district reviews their discipline data and takes action to address disparities by race or ethnicity. We can document this problem and make sure that parents and students are aware of this so they can defend their rights. I know my rights because of Young Voices, but not all youth do. We need to make sure that students are fairly judged because everyone deserves an education and a right to be inside the school building. Thank you.
Very good. Are there any questions? Representative Lanza and then Representative Lanza.
I really want to thank all of you for coming this afternoon. Your involvement and the information you can provide is so important. I do want to say that I am in a unique position to listen to what you're saying. Last year, I taught as an emergency sub in Providence every day from October 1st to June 20th. In fact, spent my last month and a half at the JOTC unit at Hope High School. I taught everything from pre-K, again, to JOTC, day-to-day sub. I was at 10 high schools, 8 elementary schools, and 7 middle schools. And I think I saw it all. And while I agree with you about the suspensions, one thing that you said, actually this is information on my part, why are they suspending in violation of the law? I'd be curious your take on that, what your thoughts about that are. Also, I have seen instances, because I was in the classroom, where I saw stressed out teachers. I saw teachers working really hard, and despite that, it did not go well, never mind as a sub. And we talk about alternatives. I would be curious suggestions you might have for alternatives, because I even go into those rooms and covered those rooms where they sent the students who are not having a good day and trying to deal with that as well and work and so forth. So, I mean, this is an important bill, and it's important, but there's other factors at play, and maybe not necessarily right now, but I'd love to get your input about those issues as well, because I think there's additional factors that to help those students even that we need to find a way. So, thank you.
Well, I think that instead of actually suspending kids and kicking them out of the school building, because a lot of kids when they act up, they actually want to get out of the school building. So when you're removing them, you're doing what they want. So again, they're going to act up because they don't want to be in school. So instead of just suspending them, we should keep them inside of school. Maybe restore what they did using restorative practices, where if a kid destroys the cafeteria, make him clean the cafeteria, make him redo so he doesn't do it again. So instead of just being angry at the school and getting madder and madder and just that he just takes out on the school, he actually learns what he did wrong and won't do it again. That's what I think.
Thank you. Representative Diaz?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to congratulate you for being the voice for issues that is affecting you and affecting you, other friends in the school. But I'm very surprised because Chairman McNamara and I, we passed legislation a couple of years ago addressing exactly what you is saying here today. Exactly, that we trying in the past to avoid the schools and the kids to home, because that is why they're looking most of the time, get into trouble, have a time, be out and acting up, and so many other things. So trying to avoid that, we put a legislation, and you really surprised me today to saying that the issue is not resolved. So it's a thank you to you for coming here and let us know that the legislation is not enforced, and we need to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Diaz. Representative McLaughlin, you have a question?
First of all, I'd like to thank you young ladies for coming up to testify in reference to, suspension But the question I'd like to ask you, and I think you reiterated on it, young lady, was what are your alternatives? When I say this, I just want to give you an example. My daughter, her first day of teaching school at Durfee, all right, a young man used profane language on her, took a chair and literally threw it across the room, hit another student, okay, and when she tried to intervene, okay, he took a shot at her. Well, luckily, my daughter is a black belt, and she put him in. She came home and she actually wept. She said to me, I'm going to get sued, So there's two sides of the story, You're there to learn, okay? You're not to be abused. You're there to learn, mutual respect. But give me your input.
For alternatives, any alternatives to suspension? I think that's the question. Do you have any alternatives? And I think you mentioned it in cleaning up the cafeteria, restorative justice, that an in-house suspension maybe? Yeah. In-house suspension would be a couple. So that would be two, Representative McLaughlin, that they would have in-house suspension, and that's something that they would consider. Are there any further questions? Yes, Representative Fogarty.
I just, from your testimony, and you girls did a great job, you young ladies, I should say, did an excellent job. When you say that the teachers give the suspensions out for being tardy, does this go through the vice principal? Isn't the vice principal in charge of discipline, or would any of these students move through that step, or is it just done on the spot? It doesn't seem like the vice principal is involved.
I believe it is, because each year at the beginning of the year, each grade has assembly. So during this assembly, our principal will tell us, oh, don't be tardy. If you're tardy, say more than 20 times, then you will be suspended for a day. Or if you're tardy for more than, say, 3 times, then you have detention, things of that nature. So I believe that, yes, principals and vice principals are involved in this process.
So it's not like on an individual case by case that you go to the principal's office once these are handed out. That doesn't happen at all?
No. In my school, it's even more strict because it's not even 3 times you're late. Before, it was so bad that if you were late once, you get detention. If you didn't go to detention that day, you were suspended. It was just like that. So it's not like an individual thing. It's the whole
with the state, the suspension law, there's due process, and there's administrator. The school administrator would be the one that would notify the parent and conduct the suspension hearing. It's a whole process. So it would be the administrator,
And so automatically.
So no, it has to be done through an administrator. It has to be reported. Representative Amore.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, ladies. Excellent. I can tell they're proficient, Chairman, even without a standardized test. So one of the things that I teach at East Providence High School. So one of the things that we've done is we've established social suspensions. So you don't get to do the extra stuff. It might be a dance, might be an activity, might be something, we have pep rallies, things like that. And that has reduced in-class suspension. So that's another option that might be presented. Thank you, Chairman.
Yep. Are there any further questions? Thank you very much, ladies. Good job. The next 3